Welcome to all of you. So this is my introduction. You saw just the sunset, which is happening right now. I'm gonna go back to it after I talked about the things that I would like to talk for this lunar eclipse in Capricorn. A lunar eclipse is when the sun moves in front of the moon and covers it and highlights the moon. Where the moon is in right now is in Capricorn and the sun is in Cancer. So these two are opposite each other, right? Of all the zodiac signs, Capricorn and Cancer are facing each other. And Cancer, as we saw, is the chariot, is the success, is the third eye, is going forward, is being focused, and is being driven, right, by this celestial connection from within, from a higher purpose. Now, Capricorn is the devil card, and a lot of people really have difficulty with the devil card, and particularly a Capricorn always, when I show them the card, they look at it and they're just like, no, that's not me, that's no, thank you, you know what I mean? So it's like they're really not into it, and I think they're right. You know, I think that Capricorn here in this deck, it's a little more approachable, right? This sexy guy, and he hands you his support, but when he hands you the support, he will enslave you, right? So he has this way about him, right? Here I am, I give you my help, but then you're my slave. I can do whatever I want with you. Now, looking at this card, right? So as you can see, there's a couple being attached to the devil, and the devil is the keeper of all taboos. And as you can see, he holds in his right hand the fire, the spark, that creative sexual energy, which is the tail of the male is generated, right? It's like he's like sexual because of that, right? She, on the other hand, has the fruit as a tail, the seed, that the two, the fire, the sexual energy, comes together with this energy of here in her tail. Now, when you look really close, they're not attached to a point where they couldn't get free. So they're, in a way, free to untouch and to get out of this connection, right? And as you can see, he also has wings, and he has the ram horns, which is usually Aries, that initiate, that starting of the spring, where then when Capricorn, they have their sexual intercourse in Aries, the babies are then being born. Now, if you can see here above his head, he has the pentagon, right? The 5-pointed star. Penta is 5 above his head, but pointing downwards, meaning it's turned upside down, right? So this is a sign for us to know that he is working with this third eye energy, not in the most positive way. Okay, so a lot of symbolism going on here in this card. If you look at this new version of the devil, you can see his chest. He has here clearly the pentagon in 6-pointed, right, star, and he actually letting you know that he actually brings a union together here in this newer version. So this is what I want to let you know, is that the devil is only appearing when the dualities are off balance, which is what's happening right now. Everything is off balance, right? So Capricorn is about structures, Capricorn is about organizations, Capricorn is about leadership, it's about individuality, it's about relating, it's about coming into this understanding that we cannot live just exclusively on one side of these two sides. And so here I have painted the Capricorn in a yoga position, and it is the dancer pose. In the night and in the day, we have to find this dance or this game, right, that we are playing every inhale and every exhale. We have to understand that this balance is deep within us, right? And when we touch it, we touch the light and the dark within us. We understand that we have two sides. Now, the card isn't finished yet, right? It's very difficult for me to paint this card, I have to admit. All the other cards flow out of me, and I was really able to totally go for it, right? Now I have another one which is more like this, right? Less of this checkboard, like a, you know, sign. So still, right, we have these two opposite energies pointing at each other, touching each other, and finding this inner light beyond these two dualities that are constantly working on us, right? So what is happening, what we really need to understand in this whole lunar eclipse is that we are now moving to a place of becoming our own leader. Capricorn is someone that is actually leading, someone that is actually in a structure, in, let's say, organization, right? So organizations, of course, that are for the greater good for all of us. And we are here to learn that our consciousness is bringing this awareness, is bringing this union to these two opposites. One is home and one is work, right? Work, home balance, like how we all have been working from home, how we all have created now from home Zoom meetings, and not all jobs can be done from home, right? But a lot of them, and now we have to find the balance between each of them, right? So this is bringing a clear leadership into the world, right? Is asking for us to realize, I am the leader of my zodiac sign. I am finding the inhale and the exhale and the centeredness in that, right? And that's really all there is that we want to bring to this lunar eclipse, where the sun moves in front of the moon, and the sun is in Cancer, highlighting this emotional, more loving and caring energy, this healing energy, to an energy that's quite more negative and dark. But it's not really negative and dark. It's not chaining you to nothing unless you allow it, right? It's just, again, this dance between these dualities, this dance between constantly inhale and exhale, dark and light. That's all there is. That's what really the devil is. And of course the devil is the Greek god Pan, and pandemic or panic comes from that word. And Greek god Pan was the player, was the seducer, because that's when we had our sexual intercourse to then in spring give birth to the next generation. So for me, the Capricorn is definitely more this Greek mythology of the goat and the human, right? This wild side. He was the wild, he was the god of the wild, the god of the nymphs and the sheeps, and like just the wild nature, right? And so really we come to an awareness, to a new awareness that we would like to bring into the foreground right now, right? Highlighting that, highlighting a healing to the Capricorn energy, to the structures, through corporations that have been putting a CEO in front, so it's not a face anymore, it's just an organization that we have almost no chance to fight, right? And I think what is going to happen right now is that we are having more and more real leadership by small businesses, startups, again, where there is a face, there is a human, their consciousness leading this kind of business, right? And it will change everything, how so far we have actually lived and made money so far. So money will change, the way we make money will change, right? And then how we implement it. We vote with our money. Every moment when I spend $1, when I spend €1, when I spend a yen, whatever you're spending, you at that moment spending it on another human being. You're spending it on a group of people who are either devoting their energy to the earth to do it in a good way, or just totally don't give a damn about the earth and just exploiting it. So you vote with your money, and that's where we are, where the highlight is coming in through the sun, right? Looking at what we have done wrong and now what we can do fresh and new, right? Entrepreneurship. So now it comes your personal reading. I hope they highlight to you exactly what you need to be doing, and I thank you again for listening. Namaste. So I'm going to turn the camera again. Welcome, Gemini. So this is your lunar eclipse reading on the 4th and 5th of July in Capricorn. We have a full moon, and the full moon gets covered by the sun, and the sun is in Cancer, right? So basically what's happening is the Capricorn is the devil in the major arcanas, and a lot of people, right, when they think of the devil, they get very uncomfortable by that kind of thought. So the Capricorn energy, this half goat, half male energy, like, or half man, half human energy. And it's interesting, it's always depicted as a male, right? Why is there not a devilin, like a woman, a female version of the devil? Anyway, these structures, organizations, all these things that we have built are now kind of moving and shifting, right? Because when the sun moves in front of the moon is in Capricorn and the sun is in Cancer, Cancer being that healer, being also successful in what you do, like the Chariot, being focused, right? We are able to bring a new leadership into this world. And I have again created a new card because for me, devil is Pan, right? The Greek god Pan, where pandemic or panic, these two words come from. And he's the god of the wild. He's the god of bringing an awareness to where we come from, all the wild, right? And here I created the dancer pose for this card. This card is not finished yet, so I'm still working on it. But here you see this like dark and light game or play or dance where we self sometimes are dark or light. And when we come into the center, that's when we can actually say we overcome this negative energy of like a devil. And a devil only has power when things are out of balance, when the light or pushes, it's too much light, there's no more inhale or exhale, right? So the inhale, let's say, is the light, and the exhale is the dark. So if I only inhale, it's just like I don't have a perspective anymore. I mean, if I only inhale, then I have just only one side. And because we have two sides, we can actually decide what we want to do or what we don't want to do. So polarity is part of our everyday life, and to come into the center is the spiritual work. However you then do that, it's depending on what your upbringing was, what you believed in, and etc., right? So, and then sometimes we have to undo certain conditions because they don't work for our evolution anymore, right? And that's what's changing. We are changing structures, we're changing organizations, we're changing at work. And for you, Gemini, we are entering, this is in your 8th house, where things change. And you will find new ways of working and making money, right? That's also going to be in the forefront for you. How you can actually bring through your work something into balance. Also remember, we have this one crossing. There we go. One more. We have what else wanted I say? Gemini, you are air. You're like fast. Sometimes I feel, when I get into the reading of each sign, I feel hot when I'm with a fire sign, or feel all spaced out. Right, so I tap into the energy. Too many. One is standing out. So here we go. All right, interesting. Wow, I just did the reading for Taurus. And also Taurus had this at the bottom of its deck. Your intuition is going to tell you what's next, because in the center of your deck you have the Magician. So she is clearly helping you to make this next manifestation on all 4 levels: earth, water, fire, and air, right? And then the spirit is in the 5th, in the ether. Because what's crossing the Magician is the 10 of Swords. Very interesting, because 10 is a new cycle, and it's 1 and 0. And here we have the number 1. The Magician is again the number 1. So you're letting go of the thoughts that have pinned you down, that have created quite an imbalance in your life. Because in your immediate, right, so this is what's crossing you, and in your immediate past you have the 7 of Swords. So you're coming from this, like, I can get away with something with my mind, this excessive thinking. You can't, right? Your thoughts are creating actions, and your actions create emotions. And again, emotions then lead into a more solid energy, right? So we come down from thought into actions, into feelings, into belongings. The same when we go from down up. We go from down up, we go from up down, the same way, right? There is always this karmic wheel where he sits looking down into the universe, but you would think the universe is above you. So this cycle, this awareness cycle, is you moving on from this, thinking you can get away with all this which you like to do, right? Because you're an air sign. You like to have your mind challenged, Gemini. You are constantly, you love to have talks, and you sometimes think you're right? And there is no right or wrong. There is no such thing as only one way. There's always two ways. There is a dark side and there's a light side. There is within you a dark seat and within you a light seat. Bring them together and you are being in the center, right? You also see here the dark and the light. Now at the base of your reading, you have Leo, the strength to combine the wild and this pure, innocent girl, which is also depicted here as a lamb, which the lion can eat in a split second. And it's the heart here in her chest, in her center, in her solar plexus that gives her the power to not eat this little lamb. And again, here's the infinite play at work. Above you, you have Sagittarius, temperance, meaning moderation. And again, it's the play of dark and light, solid and liquid, right? So here he sits with his two wings in his center, in his connection towards always in the middle, always knowing that there's two things happening. Two things are necessary for us to have a choice. Two things are necessary for us to understand how we inhale and we exhale, and that the two come together. Now in your future, near future, you've got Capricorn, which is the devil. A very charismatic devil here, right? And she painted the pentagram in a very interesting way, right? So it's like there is a point going up and a point going down. Usually the pentagram is drawn 5-pointed star, and when it's in its positive side, the point goes up, which is the head, and the other 4 points are the 2 arms and the 2 legs. When it's like a devilish energy, then it's painted reverse, right? So the 2 legs up, the 2 arms on the side, and the head down, meaning, right, I'm like in my negative side. So she painted it in an equal way. So she painted it as like almost like a 6-pointed star, not a 5-pointed star. She created the equilibrium in her heart. And still the devil shows us that we can get bound, right? We can get bound by the game. And when we get taste of success and taste of these structures and organizations and money and everything, right? So sometimes we lose it. Sometimes it's binding us. It's bringing us into this place. So it shows me that you really, on this full moon in Capricorn, are going to feel a shift happening. So I want, for the 7 of Swords, a card, a clarification, and for the devil. Now, interesting, the devil is the 15, number 15, and that's the number 6. So that's maybe why she painted a 6-pointed star and not a 5-pointed star. Because pentagram is the connection to earth, right? Those are the coins, those are the earth connection. It's the belonging, it's the density, it's the finance, it's like having. And then in the end, is like, what do we really have? What do we owe, right? So please give me a clarification for the Seven of Swords. Right? And also like looking at the Seven of Swords and the Devil, like we think we can get away with our mind doing negative things, even if it's not really an action, but it's a thought. And oh boy, no. Right? Everything is now getting clearer in our consciousness, and that's about how our thoughts are affecting us. We are entering a whole new dimension. So I have one card. Oh my God. Give me another card for the Devil. One card for the Devil. Sometimes when it doesn't come out, I say, okay, I do it 3 more times, and if nothing comes out, then nothing comes out, and I accept that, right? And there's no message. Okay, so 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. Nope. So I'm going to look at the bottom of the deck. And it's Page of Water. Underneath is your sign, Gemini, the Lovers. So I have to take that. And the Page of Air. Okay, I'm not going to look at the other card. That's it, right? So the Seven of Swords got 7 of Air Swords. 7 of Swords, clarifying 7 of Swords. Sometimes we get away by thinking a certain way, and we think those thoughts are not affecting us, but they do. Now in the good tarot, like all the negative cards are quite positively drawn, right? So this woman is up in the air, and she has these geese flying, and she has these birds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so she's up in the air, and she's actually looking to the future. And she's aware that it's just her thoughts, and that we really create with our mind the future. So really become aware. This is in your near past, right? So it's not like, okay, you are bound still by that. You still maybe do it a little bit, but because then you have the 10 of Swords, meaning it's finished, with the Magician, meaning you overcoming your, you think, you know, you're overcoming your excessive thinking, which is part of who you are, right? This is your challenge. Each zodiac sign has its positive and its negative side, has its challenges and has its gloriness, right? So this Capricorn lunar eclipse is going to shift you to become you fully, the Lovers, in combination of the Page of Air, the Page of Swords, and the Page of Water. Union between the steam, the air, and the water, the love and the thinking, combining them, bringing emotions and thoughts together in a loving way. These 2 pillars, the Beauty and the Beast, within you. That's what this full moon is going to do and change in your perception. Let's get one oracle card for you. So you have quite some work to do, like we all have, right? Now again, the bird of liberation, the flying away, the rainbow, and bringing to you all facets on this full moon, all things that we can do. Number 41 is the number 5. So allow all these different colors to have their place, all these different thoughts, and don't punish yourself anymore for this excessive thinking, and know that you create and manifest your new future, because you came up in your own reading, right? So in this loving way, you will overcome in this full moon, in the devil, in the dancer. You will dance and you will find a new way of bringing this awareness to you. You have the moderation card above you. You have the angel of temperance. You have that awareness, and you will have the strength. Beautiful. Beautiful. And of course you have her, right? She's overlooking, and she's making sure that you are really understanding what this means. Thoughts and emotions create love. All right, my dear Gemini, thank you for watching. I wish you a beautiful meditation and finding this light, this highlight in your consciousness, right, on this Capricorn lunar eclipse. Namaste.